friends, this is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and a lot of people are asking, what has Darth Maul been up to? Like, the last time we saw him, he was getting his butt handed to him on Mandalore. Today, what I want to do is I'm going to break down a story arc that should have been in Season 7. Now, for those of you who don't know, like, the backstory of Season 7, so much disappeared. And by that, I mean, essentially what they did is there was stuff that was being done. Disney bought Star Wars and they're like, look, we got to cut this. They left a ton of story arcs that were just unfinished. Ahsoka's clearly being one of them. I mean, the Bad Batch was like all but done. We got Dark Disciple, the story of Asajj Ventress and Quinlan Vos. Like, that was a whole story arc. That was turned into a book. Bad Batch was eventually made into a series here. But one of the story arcs was Darth Maul, son of Dathomir, which picks up immediately after the battle on Mandalore, where Sidious just destroys Maul. I mean, not physically, but like emotionally. Son of Dathomir starts immediately after that. Sidious has taken Maul to Stygian Prime, this ice planet. Turns out there's a lot of like prison planets in the galaxy, and this is one of them, right? This story starts off Maul's in chains, and Sidious, he's like, look, buddy, just because I spared your life doesn't mean I don't have plans for you. Now, he doesn't go off and tell us necessarily what those plans are. What does he do? He brings Dooku in. He's like, hey, look, I've got a brand new apprentice. And this fills Maul with just a sense of green rage that infuriates him. Now, Dooku is going to stay back behind and kind of like torture Maul and, you know, get information and so on and so forth out of him. But not until Sidious gives Dooku the backstory of how Maul came to be. Now, what's interesting here is Sidious talks about his time with Mother Talzin. And he's like, look, we spent some time together. You know, we studied the dark side together. Now, you take that for what it is. Part of me wants to think they got a little romantic. They had a little, like, Coruscanti wine. And Darth Maul is the bastard love child of Sidious and Mother Talzin. Just saying, it's possible. Palpatine apparently got around. He has a number of illegitimate children that are canon at this point. But we don't necessarily know. He says, he's telling Dooku, look, Talzin sent him to me. I didn't like him, but it was a gift that I kept, right? But Sidious has a plan for Maul, and the plan is to lure Talzin out. But Dooku's like, no, dude, she's dead. Grievous told me she's dead. Remember, like, that battle that all the Night Sisters became zombies, and, like, all the droids were like, I'm a droid, I don't care about zombies, and killed the Night Sisters? Talzin died. But she didn't really die, right? And so what happens here is Sidious knows this. He's like, look, Maul's alive. Clearly Talzin is too. While Sidious is telling Dooku this, on the other side of the prison, we get two of the most bad A Mandalorians. They have infiltrated alone this prison on Stygian Prime. Who is this? We get Gar Saxon, commander at the time, and Rook Kast. And you're like, who in the world is Rook Kast? I don't know. Now, this is a very interesting character, and I do want to point out, she could very well be the armorer in the sequel, in The Mandalorian. Just throwing this out there. Now, Rook and Gar are going around, kicking tons of butt, and eventually free Maul. They head off to a planet called Zanbar. Now, Zanbar is this place where, like, all of the other Mandalorians, all the people who are loyal to Maul are now congregating. Dooku lets Maul go. Like, he gives him enough wiggle room to make it look like he escaped, to make it look like he's like, yeah, that's cool. He freed himself. Dooku let him go. He sends his lapdog Grievous after him, and Grievous is like, should I kill everyone? And Dooku says no. Just embarrass him, right? Just hurt him enough that he goes back to Talzin. Because that is ultimately Sidious's plan. They want Mother Talzin dead. And they want Darth Maul to lead, or Maul at this point, to lead them to Talzin. Grievous gets there. At this point, Maul's got the Darksaber again. It's pretty cool. The Mandalorian's like, victory or death! Victory or death! In come the Separatists. And it is devastating for Maul. Many of his forces are just wiped. And he is left to flee. Now, it does cost the Separatist a lot. Like, a lot of droids, a lot of stuff, like weapons and gear and merchandise or materiel are used to defeat the Mandalorians, because they're Mandalorians. You don't just go and like, hey, give up. That's not how they roll. It cost them a ton. Ultimately, they do put Maul to his heels and he flees. Now, during his flight, he communes with Mother Talzin. He channels her spirit and like this spectral mist all comes out. And he's like, Mama T, do I go to Dathomir just yet? And she's like, no, don't come to Dathomir. Go to Ord Mantell. Ord Mantell is where the Black Sun has a base. Call in the Pike Syndicate and we will show them our true numbers. They think they have outnumbered us. They think they are going to just come and decimate us. That is not the case. That will never be the case, because I'm Mama T, you're Darth Maul, and we are going to bring Sidious to his knees. Now, what's interesting here is who is at Ord Mantell? Well, you get Zayton Maj, and he's Major Domo of the Black Sun at this time. But who else do you get? Fife! Fife is a person that we do recently see from the previous episodes of the Clone Wars, where Ahsoka and Sisters Martell, they're all doing their thing. He's the guy pulling the strings. He's the guy in the background telling everyone to do stuff, right? The Shadow Syndicate, they're there. They're listening to Maul's empowered speech. Like, Maul sets forth his plan. While they're doing that, Dooku, Grievous, traveling through space, they get word that a ship has left Dathomir, flies over to Ord Mantell. So who do they think's on the ship? Mother Talzin, clearly. And so Dooku and Grievous are like, all right, we're going to go in. We're going to lay down the hammer. But here's the thing. Darth Maul is familiar with all the Separatist trickery. So what do? Maul lays a trap, right? Mandalorians are like, look, we are going to squeeze them at these checkpoints. We're going to kick some, serious droid butt. And we're going to wipe the floor with the Separatist army. All of this is going on. These two factions are just weakening themselves. For every battle that is fought, Mandalore versus Separatist, that is fewer droids, fewer Mandalorians to fight against the Republic. Okay? All of this is playing into Sidious's hands, and it's a brilliant strategy. So eventually the ship from Dathomir shows up, and who's on it? Talzin sent the Nightbrothers, Brother Viscus, which is a great name. Viscus is like, all right, I brought my boys, we're gonna kick some butt. So battle ensues. Dooku heads down to planet side where Grievous stays, in the ship. There's an orbital bombardment. Many people die. Dooku figures out Talzin is not there. When Dooku figures out, Grievous is like, wait a second, something's not right here. And boom, shakalaka, out of nowhere, Maul and other crew come from space and just start waylaying the Grievous ships, these Separatist ships. And they are targeting the command ship that Grievous is on. Long story short, Maul finds his way in. Maul takes capture of Grievous. The Nightbrothers take capture of Dooku. Happy days for the Shadow Syndicate. Not so great days for the Separatists. Now, especially for Grievous and Dooku, because failing Sidious is not a positive thing. It's not a good thing, and they don't. He doesn't like when his apprentices fail him. He's always like, I'm disappointed. In the end, they are his captives. After the Battle of Ord Mantell, Sidious, aka Chancellor Palpatine, is like, oh, hey, I'll just, randomly put in this call to Mace Windu. Now, I don't know if you guys remember who Mace Windu is. He's kind of a bad A. And he's like, hey, Master Windu, rumor has it that there was a battle at Ord Mantell and Count Dooku was there leading the charge against this red-headed monster, and we don't know what it is. And so Windu's like, all right, I got this. I'm going to go lead my forces, and we'll check it out. Don't worry, I'll let you know what happens. Windu takes Kenobi, who is just off of, the murder of Duchess Satine. Murdered at the hands of Maul. Tragic. So, Kenobi, Windu, Trippy, Aayla Secura, and they show up at Ord Mantell, and they're like, hey, we can't tell who fought here. Clearly there's droids everywhere, and they're all dead. But who did they fight? And the proof is in the pudding when they find a Mandalorian helmet, right? Or a Mauldalorian helmet. So they're starting to look through stuff, and they're like, oh, where do we go? Now, near all of this, near Ord Mantell, there is a base. The Jedi are like, all right, so this is the next major spot. We'll go over here. We'll check it out. All the while that the Jedi are like, what do we do? Where do we find him? There is a hollow call, right? This is a work from home, 6 feet apart style call where Maul reaches out to former master and says, look, I got your boys. And you can't take much more of this. Without them, your separatist army is going to collapse. What does Sidious say? Screw them. I don't need them. I've got another apprentice. No, he doesn't say that, but in his mind, he's like, I've got another apprentice that I'm working on. And Maul's like, I'm going to kill him. And Sidious's like, go ahead, kill him. I don't need them. I just told you I don't need them. Now, this is an interesting thing, right? Because this is all playing into one of the major moments for Darth Maul. Remember, Sidious is controlling all of this from behind the scenes. This is a game of chess to him, right? Hollow chess, Dejarik, whatever you want to call it. And Sidious is like, look, tread lightly, Maul. Revenge is a dangerous game. One you never seem to win. Boom! There are mic drops left and right. I mean, these Sidious, they are turned, might not be the right word, but there is some shade being cast from Darth Maul, from Darth Sidious, to Ren. All of these fools are not just good with the dark side and the dark arts and, being Sith and whatnot, but their words hurt. It is painful, right? So they're going through this, and Maul is like, all right, I'm going to keep him captive. Maul tries to convince Dooku to join his team. It's kind of like this really powerful moment where he's like, look, your master is not as powerful as he claims to be, right? You know his weaknesses, just like I know his weaknesses, and you and I together, we can do this. And Dooku's like, look, man, no, right? I know that you are not that strong. And then boom, out of his chest in a spectral, glorious mist, in a very terrifying way, pops Mother Talzin, right? It is frightening, right? And she tells Dooku of kind of the betrayal of Darth Sidious, and all he does is leave behind in his wake dead people, right? Now there's a huge reveal here, where you've got this moment where she's like, look, he kills his apprentices. You cannot trust him. You will be replaced. He is going to replace you, or looking to replace you already. But then she goes into this more of an exchange of hey, we were college buddies, and we were studying the dark side together, and we were sharing dark side abilities, Night Sister magics and dark side magics and other stuff like that. She doesn't say this, but she's like, things may have gotten a little out of hand, and the SOB stole my son. Right? And Dooku's like, your son? Who's Maul? Maul is your son. So Maul is blood to Talzin, and that's probably why she can travel and live in his body and stuff. Or it's just Night Sister magic and she's cool with that. I don't know. It's not super explained here. Again, I reiterate the fact that, Sidious may have gotten down with Mother Talzin, and Maul is the illegitimate offspring of their union. Again, not the first time that Sidious has had bastard children running around the galaxy. Just saying. All the while this is going on, Maul's like, look, you've got to come, right? Together, be my apprentice. Together, we'll rule the galaxy. Together, we'll take down Sidious, so on and so forth. While he's trying to convince some Jedi show up, craziness ensues. Grievous escapes. While Grievous escapes, there's a battle, and people show up. The deathwatch shows up and says, look, Master, Jedi just boarded the ship. And Maul is like, are you with me? Will you fight for me? Essentially, he says allies are death, right? Dooku's response is, let us go kill Jedi together. Right? He doesn't say, yes, I'll be your apprentice, because clearly he's playing, both sides of it. And he's like, wise decision. Together they go and they fight. It is pretty epic. The battle here is pretty epic. And again, one of the powerful moments is Master Trippy. She's the weird-haired one, right? She gets pulled by Dooku and skewered. Now, Kenobi is standing right next to her. And earlier in the comic, Kenobi's like, I won't fail you like I failed Satine. But man, does he. Just throwing that out there. He does. And it is a powerful moment, right? So she gets skewered. Kenobi's pissed. Maul, Dooku, and the remainder of the Mandalorians are able to flee and leave the ship. Now, what's interesting about this, what do the Jedi see? The Jedi see Darth Maul and Count Dooku working together to kill the Jedi, right? So, immediately after the battle, who calls, like he was aware that the battle just ended, Chancellor Palpatine. And Palpatine's like, oh, hey, Master Jedi, what's going on? What happened? How you doing? Haven't heard from you in a while. What's going on? And Mace Windu's like, look, buddy, they're working together. And so maybe the Dark Master, the Sith Lord that we've been looking for this whole time was Dooku, was Darth Tyrannus. And his apprentice is Maul. And it is like, oh, you're talking. It's crazy fascinating. Now remember, this whole time, like a puppet master. He is just stringing them along like a puppet master. And it is so hard to watch. Now what's interesting though is now they're on the run again. Section 4 starts with a discussion from the Black Sun and the Pike Syndicate. And they're like, look, we don't trust that this is not just a vendetta. You are after something. He's like, we're mercenaries. You've lost us the Asteroid Keep. You have lost us Ord Mantell. You are losing us money, and we do not work for free. Maul's like, you'll get paid, right? Whatever. Maul has no intention of working with Dooku either. Not as he stands here. So they take Count Dooku into the tomb of Mother Talzin and using Night Sister magic. They're draining the life out of Dooku, and they're going through this whole thing, and they're like, look, you're gonna resurrect you. We're gonna resurrect Mother Talzin. We're gonna use your life force. You're gonna die. That's how you're gonna. And he's like, through your blood, a new power arises from the roots of Dathomir. And in walks freaking General Grievous. Through a wall, mind you. He's like, blood is about to be spilt, all right. Yours. Now, the real question is, how did he know that Maul had just said that? Was he planning at? And then how many other holes did he blow into this, edifice and say that until he found Maul? That is the real legitimate question. Then, this epic battle ensues, and it's Sidious and Grievous versus Maul and this weirdly possessed Mother Talzin, right? Or Dooku via Mother Talzin, right? It's a Freaky Friday Mother Talzin. Sidious shocks the absolute crap out of Dooku, which kind of extricates Mother Talzin from his body. And, it's kind of funny because as it's happening, Maul and Grievous kind of just watch. That shock is the last thing that Mother Talzin needs to resurrect. And it is awesome. This is another moment of dark shade being thrown. Talzin responds, or comes back. She's like fully alive. You know, she's like, I have got a body now. She says, I am whole. I am returned. And Sidious is, you're about to die. It's just an awesome moment. Like, again, the shade being thrown between these dark side characters is wonderful. Fighting ensues. Maul chucks Grievous right out of that window. And there is this, you know, light side, I don't want to say light side, dark side, Night Sister magic, force lightning plague thing going where they're just using like these powers. And it seems pretty stalemated. It seems pretty tied until Dooku wakes himself again and uses his energy, uses his force lightning with his master to overcome Talzin. Now, what's interesting here is that Talzin can hold him off pretty well, but she can't run, right? She can't flee. And so what does she do? She sends her son away. She's like, you have to go. Now, luckily, we get two Deathwatch show up and they're like, hey, Maul, get over here. You got to run, right? And he's like, no, I'm not going to leave you. And, you know, she flings him out and he's gone, right? Now, as she, you know, throws him away, essentially gets him to safety, in walks Grievous and absolutely just murders Mama T. And it is kind of painful to watch. I mean, it's gruesome, right? But like as she dies, we have this moment where, you know, Maul is just defeated. And to Sidious, he is defeated. He is absolutely defeated. And the idea here is that he's no longer a threat. Now, he's looking at that as a Sith. He's no longer a threat as a Sith, right? Could he still be a threat in other areas? Absolutely. Will he be part of the Siege of Mandalore? Probably not, right? The Siege of Mandalore is going to be separatist versus the Mandalorians with the, you know, the Republic, right? The Republic is going to step in. They're going to do that. Maul is going to be on his own, right? Or running his own shadow collective again, right? Or different aspects of his shadow collective. And so I think that's very interesting. What Maul is doing at this time is essentially trying to recoup his losses after the Pike Syndicate leave him and the Black Sun leave him as well. And so Maul is trying to, in my mind, trying to recollect himself. Now, what is he doing in Star Wars Clone Wars? We'll have to wait and see. But this is where Maul is between the episodes of the original Clone Wars and when we see him originally or soon to battle Ahsoka at the Battle of Mandalore or on Mandalore, as so this trailer, you know, indicates. So what do you guys think? This is just a breakdown of Darth Maul, son of Dathomir. This is a great story. I did break down all of it for you, but there's a lot of subtle hints, a lot of subtlety here and there that I think that you will enjoy if you just reach out. You can check this book out on Amazon. You can find it in a bookstore. It's solid, guys. It's absolutely solid. I'll leave a link to the Amazon, you know, if you guys want to check it out. Find it, read it. I suggest reading it before the series finale of the Clone Wars. But let me know what you guys think. If you are interested, in the section below, I will also leave a link to Audible. You can try out Audible for 1 month. You can get 2 free books. Any book that you want, you get them for free. There's some great books out there, guys. Sign up for a month, cancel within a month. You keep your 2 books. You help my channel out. It is great. You have nothing to lose. You have everything to gain and you help me. So that's also great. Let me know what you guys think. What role do you think Darth Maul will play between Mandalore, the Battle of Mandalore, and when we see him again in Rebels? Let me know. Like, subscribe, share. This has been Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and as always, my friends, smile. and stay nerdy.